I'm good with this gun. Good gun.
Welcome back, everybody. As you probably guessed from the title of the video, today we are going over two firearms that I have previously reviewed and reviewed both positively. I'm not the only one. If you look around the internet, these guns are extremely popular and for good reason. So what do we have? We have the Taurus TX22 and then we have our Sig P322. So we're going to walk through a comparison of each, and then at the end you should be armed with enough information to decide which one you want / need / have to have / don't want. That will be up to you guys. So there's definitely pros and cons to each. So let's sort of just walk through them, right? We have our whiteboard of truth here today as our guest. I haven't busted it out in a while. I decided it would be a good way to illustrate kind of what is going on for people who have never seen a whiteboard of truth video. I realize my penmanship is terrible and the lighting is not good. You guys probably cannot read it. It's for me to keep me on track, not so much for you guys to actually read. So this is our category here for the 322 if you guys want to read it, and the TX22. So base cost. So talking street price, not MSRP. Base price on the actual P322 here is going to be somewhere between $399 and $499. The MSRP is higher than that, but the thing is, right now, as of when I'm filming this video in July of 2022, they can't keep these in stock. So literally, if it comes in at $499, it sells out. If it comes in at $399, it sells out. If it comes in at $450, it sells out. So that is the base price on the actual firearm. This one here, once again talking street price, is going to be $275 for this particular model. We will get into variations here in just a second. So it is a good bit less expensive with the Taurus. So if price is your thing, Taurus definitely gets a win there. Ergonomics. I'm not going to say either one is better than the other, but I am going to say they're absolutely different. So if you guys can, I don't know if I can kind of illustrate this to you, but I have very large hands. And for me, that would be my trigger reach to the trigger shoe here on the 322. And basically, I am almost, like literally, almost fully wrapped around the grip module there with this particular gun with one hand. It is not true with the Taurus. You can see I have much more room there simply because we have this hump here that fills out the actual grip. Now, the actual reach to the trigger is pretty much identical because here to here on both guns, it's pretty much the same size, as you guys can see. However, the Taurus has that hump there, whereas our Sig does not have that hump. So that's what accounts for just a larger feeling grip on the Taurus. And then in terms of ergonomics, one thing I like a little bit better on the Taurus is that we have our mag release there is shielded by the polymer on the grip module, whereas here on the 322, it's a little bit easier to bump just like so. That said, is it a big deal for either? No, but that is the ergonomics. I would also say that in terms of the safety, it's a little bit harder to put on the Taurus, but coming off is just fine, whereas the Sig, very intuitive to put on. The Taurus is just a little bit weird in terms of actually putting it back on after you fire, but of course, taking them off is the same for each one there, so that is the ergos. Models, variants. So right now, again, as of when I'm filming this video, the 322 is only one. So this is it. This is what you get. If you want a 322, this is what you get. There's no exception. So whereas the Taurus has a ton of different color options, and it also has versions with no thumb safety, and then it also has a competition model, which is optics ready. Obviously, we'll get into that here in just a second, but that one there will be a little bit more in terms of price point for the competition model. The barrel is a little bit different on that one as well. But in terms of models, there's lots of variations for the Taurus. As of right now, only one for the 322. Capacity. So both of them come with very good magazines. One of the reasons that they're both extremely popular is this capacity issue. You know, 10 years ago, if you're looking at a 22 pistol, basically you're limited to options with 10 rounds, and that just is what it was. So these right here, the Taurus rather, is a 16 round magazine, and then our Sig is a 20 round magazine. These are both factory magazines direct. They're not, you know, aftermarkets or anything like that, like you'll see for some 22 options out there. So just straight from the factory capacity, the Sig is the win for sure. However, the actual Taurus has become so popular that the aftermarket now is making +5 and +8 base plates that I've seen. So they are out there if you guys want to increase the capacity on your Taurus. That said, with a rimfire gun, I doubt many people are going to want more than 16 or 20 rounds. Either way, you're going to be happy, at least I am, and definitely fun to plink with for sure, but they are different, so just know that going into it. In terms of the actual sights on the gun from the factory, again, we're talking about the base model TX22. It does not have an optics cut for it. And so we were looking at 3-dot sights. Your rear is adjustable for windage and elevation, which is definitely important on a 22 because you're going to have some wild point of impact shifts with 22 ammo. It just kind of is what it is from load to load. So that is your configuration that you get there from Taurus from the factory. Just like that, the windage is adjustable here for the rear sight on the Sig, but they're fiber optic sights, and they're actually really good sights. Has a square notch rear, and this one does as well. They're both square notch in that regard, but it has nice serrations on there, subdued, protected fiber optic there on the Sig. Additionally, from the factory, all of them are going to be optics cut. So again, in terms of sighting system, the Sig is a winner in every single way. The one thing I will say for folks who haven't watched my review of this, the thing I don't like about it is the fact that you lose your rear sight with this coming off and using an optic. Is what it is. It's a con, but you know, you still get an optic, whereas with Taurus, you don't. The exception to that is going to be, there's a company called Galloway Precision that makes a dovetail mount for micro red dot optics. So if you're looking to buy something aftermarket, you can mount an optic on there. But again, just like the Sig, you will lose your rear sight in doing so. Magwell. So this one's kind of self-explanatory. The actual Sig has a Magwell. It's a nice flared Magwell. It's excellent. So when you're going to do your reloads, it's very easy to get in there. That said, the downside of it is, if you get a double feed, it's relatively difficult to grab it and strip and rip it out. So that Magwell is great for everything, with the exception of double feeds. And the Taurus there has no Magwell, as you can see. So when it goes in there, there's no Magwell, but it has these relief cuts on the side. So that way, if you have a double feed and you need to rip and rip that mag out, you can press your magazine release and rip it out. So pros and cons to each, but they are different without question. The trigger. So a couple things that are different with this one here on our Sig is that you get 2 different shoes from the factory. Obviously we have the flat shoe on there, but they also make one with a curved shoe. And the actual trigger itself, you'll ghost it. You're not supposed to rimfire, or rather dry fire rimfire guns a lot, but hey, for YouTube, we'll do it for you. It's got a lot of creep, but the brake is clean. The reset is tactile and audible. It's a good trigger, especially for a 22 of this type, without question. Not mad about it at all. The trigger on the Taurus is interesting because it's a hinge trigger, but what you guys can't see from just looking at it from the outside is that what you think is the trigger, this piece right here, is actually the trigger safety. And the actual trigger, I don't know if I'll be able to get a shot of it or not, but the actual trigger itself is behind there. So this is our trigger safety. And then behind there is the real trigger. Interesting on this gun. And obviously we have our take-up, and the take-up on the Taurus is lighter than the take-up on the Sig, without question. And then we hit our wall, brakes, it's lighter. It's a little bit lighter than the Sig as well. And the wall is a little bit more defined on the Taurus. Both of them have very good resets, as you guys can see there. But for sure, the take-up is heavier, brakes a little bit heavier, but this one does brake, at least with the flat shoe rather, right there, sort of at that 90-degree mark, which a lot of folks like for optimized trigger brakes. It does have that. Other things that these pistols have that a lot of folks really like are these barrels that are threaded or not, if that makes sense. So basically this portion right here is going to screw on the end of the barrel. But when it comes from the factory, you're not going to see the threaded portion rather out there on the end. You'll just see a flush version, and it will come with the adapter. Both of them do come with it. They utilize the exact same system. So those of you guys who want to shoot these suppressed can do so right from the factory. I don't know how it works with state laws that ban threaded barrels, because again, when it comes out of the box, it doesn't look like this. So I don't know how that works with state laws. That said, I wouldn't follow state laws anyway, but you know, you guys are adults, you guys can make those choices. But again, both pistols designed to be shot suppressed if you want to do so. And additionally, with both length barrels, pretty much every single 22 load out there on the market will come out subsonic, so shooting it suppressed is very, very quiet. Both of these actually cycle the Aguila 60 grain subsonic load very well, which makes them comically quiet with the right silencer on there. And speaking of loads that they don't cycle, I didn't put that up there, but outside of that 60 grain load, the lighter weight Aguila loads in this particular gun, like the 36 grainers, and I think they had a 32 grainer if I remember correctly, that wouldn't cycle correctly in this gun, but like your bulk pack 40 grain ammo from Federal, Remington, whatever, Winchester, it all works fine in this gun. The same is going to be true in the Sig. In my experience, what it doesn't like is Browning ammo. I don't know why. Browning ammo works fine in the Taurus as well. Browning 40 grain was causing this guy to have issues, and I believe in both cases, the issues that we're actually having are magazine related. So both of these magazines have a cool feature where they have the tab assist there on the side. And one of the things that makes them unique out there versus other competitive offerings is the fact that they are not single stack. The danger to having a not single stack 22 round magazine is the possibility for rim lock. So rim lock is basically because the 22 case is a rimmed case designed not so much for semi-autos. If you load it incorrectly, it can cause rim lock. Additionally, under recoil and the rounds moving around like that, you can have rim lock as well. That typically will happen when we have a malfunction with these guns. Almost always that's what causes it, is the magazine or a round going nose down in the magazine. That happened to me more on the Sig mag than it did with the Taurus, but I saw it with both guns where basically a round just basically wasn't facing up and couldn't feed accordingly. Literally, you just bang it and it will go up and you can continue firing. But just know that in terms of reliability, both guns are super reliable for semi-automatic 22s. I said it's a different category, right? If they're 9mm and double stack like Glock 19 size guns, shooting 9mm, not 22, I would say that they're unreliable. But being semi-automatics in 22 caliber, they're very reliable. So both are very reliable. You just have to find what loads work for you in your particular gun, in your particular setup. If I didn't have either gun, which one would I get? Depends on the budget, right? So if you're on a budget and you don't need an optic, then the Taurus is a perfectly fine gun. I don't think you're gonna miss the full rounds. But if you want the added features that the Sig comes with, I think the Sig is a little bit more refined, if that makes sense. That said, performance-wise, both of them perform equally well. They're both very, very good guns. They're guns that I recommended here on the channel for a reason, and that really is the comparison. Many, many of you guys have asked me for that, so I wanted to knock it out and let you guys make up your own minds. If you guys have any of these guns, definitely let us know down below in the comment section how they've been for you, how they've performed. And if you don't have one and you're gonna pick one up, let us know which one you're gonna pick up down below in the comments as well. If you guys have any questions, you can post those down there. Additionally, you can post them over at my various social media sites that you see here on your screen. Additionally, if you're subscribed here on the channel, thank you for that. I appreciate it. If you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you like this type of video. It's what we do around here quite frequently. If you've signed up, or rather subscribed, and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, that means you're being censored by an algorithm. So to avoid that, you can sign up for my email list here at the website on your screen. This email list is sent out once every month at most, and it has all of the videos since the previous email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, if either of these go on sale, go in stock, out of stock, are a really good deal. The ammo is really cheap, whatever the case may be. We will put it in our daily deals email, and you can sign up for that at the website here on your screen. That goes out every day, and it has 6 or 7 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If the item is in that email, it's the cheapest that I know of anywhere on the internet that particular day as we sent it out. One difference that I just noticed as I picked this pistol up that I didn't touch on is that as of right now, the TX22 is available without an external thumb safety, whereas again, as of right now, the P322 isn't. So that is a difference as well. And with that, guys, we will close the video out. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing, if I could talk. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next video.